Okay, live on Zoom now. Are we live on the YouTubes? Yes, we are live on the YouTubes. Well, it's not a good morning. See, I tried to do that again. It is afternoon, so happy Sunday to everyone. I guess it's Palm Sunday, which is what, the Sunday before Easter kind of deal. Today is April the 13th, 2025. I hope everyone is doing well. Um, I did not, as you will probably notice, get out of my own way enough. I did get out of the house yesterday. We went to a holistic fair here locally. And it was quite a lovely afternoon. I have to admit, it was quite a lovely afternoon. Met a couple of folks, invited, I should say, a couple of folks to come and have conscious conversations with me on the YouTubes. And so we shall see what happens. Oh my. I am not at all feeling this way, but we got Gluminous Doom came out from the fairies. Okay. Well, this is an energy read, so we'll see what's happening, right? So however, I have to tell you guys, no matter what presents itself to me anymore, I now see very clearly where it all serves. And so even in the most, what I would label horrific situations, oh my, and this has been one of the harder things for me to get to, is surrender my need to be right. As I was saying that, right? I can only know actually, I can only know what I think is best for me in the moment, right? And even at that, I now know that I may not be right. I can feel like I am, but I may be shown later that I wasn't. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but it certainly does to me. The bottom of that card says, give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. Well, and that's a really good thing for me to be reminded of in these moments of now. I know that the astrology right this minute is all about relationships. For me, in particular, being a Libra, being the fact that Venus has gone direct as of yesterday, Venus being my ruler, and we have Tiger with the keyword will. Okay. Yesterday we had fierceness and the Wolverine. And today we have Tiger with the keyword will. That card also shows, and I don't think that's Shiva, but it shows a female deity, a many-armed deity. So we'll see what that one has to say there. I just love that these cards were asking to be included. And I want to share, I have been giving the Rumi deck a rest of late. Oh, this one as well? Okay, this one as well. And this one. All three of these from the Alchemy Elementals deck wanted to come out. We have Land, Animal, Star, Land, Tree, Earth, and Sky, Snow, Earth. So I guess we'll see. At any rate, what I was getting ready to say was that I have been giving the Rumi deck a break. And today it was almost a scream. When I reached for the Journey of Love deck, it felt imperative that I use the Rumi deck for today. So we'll see what Rumi has to offer us today. So I hope everyone's. So let me just share this too. I was in the middle of sharing that with you. So you can look for. Of course, I don't know when exactly, but there will be some conscious conversations to come. Because I am going to be going by other folks' timing, when they are available and that sort of thing. But I have a young man who channels the angels, offers messages. So we'll see what he has to share. I also I asked a gal who was there doing human design if she might come and talk to us a little bit more about human design. Several of you have received the blueprint package, I guess I could say, from me, and it includes your human design chart. And I don't really know that much about human design, but so I'm hoping that this young lady will come and chat with us a little bit more about what it is, how it came about, all of that sort of thing. Okay, so Gluminous Doom absolutely wants to be the first one. And I actually, for myself, want to remind myself again about the surrender, the need to always be right. This is a big thing for me, a very big thing for me. I didn't realize just how much I had that need to be right for everybody else as well as for myself. And now I can see very clearly, that even in moments when I think I've been right for myself, I actually have not been right for myself. I wasn't anywhere near being right for myself. Right. And I also know that all of those times obviously served. They served me in ways that I can now see, but I couldn't in the moment, right? So it says, give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. So that one absolutely has to come first, because that actually is an underlying energy for me personally to keep in mind. I hope that it is that for you as well. Okay, so from the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud and Jessica Macbeth, we have, and just in case anybody wanted to know, this one comes from the Surrender deck, and unfortunately I've forgotten the author's name, and that's terrible. I should get that out. At any rate, Old Gluminous Doom came out this morning. And there are keywords here. This is card number 56. That is an 11 numerologically, which is a master number. And the key word for Gluminous Doom is self-defeat, self-pity, self-destruction, taking care of ourselves. Self-pity is the first step on the slippery, seductive slide toward self-destruction. Much of what I've said above about, and I guess the card just before this is the Soul Shrinker, applies to Gluminous Doom. So please read about the Soul Shrinker first. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go and read the Soul Shrinker card, which we did not get, but because of this being part of the advice, we're going to do that. And the keywords for the Soul Shrinker are cruelty, malice, gossip, curses, destruction, and blessing. The distasteful task of the Soul Shrinker is to observe what we say to and about others, especially the mean, nasty, and unnecessarily critical things. By observing our behavior and wait a minute, I lost my place. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. By observing our behavior this way, he reflects it back to us, making us more aware of it. This is a bodhisattva, a spiritual being devoted to helping to bring about the enlightenment of all type of job. So the Soul Shrinker has a bodhisattva type of job, and it requires great compassion, understanding, and forgiveness if the Soul Shrinker himself is not to be dragged down to our level. If we are just inwardly spluttering, looking for words, he may even suggest to us the words that express our feelings and energy. Then it is our choice, our test, whether or not we say them. There are two important things about malicious gossip: unnecessary criticism, verbal cruelty, sarcasm, and, quote, scoring off of others. One is that it demeans the speaker, makes him less, makes his aura darker, and encourages the behavior as a habit, continually eroding the brightness and potential goodness of the speaker. The other important thing is that this is a way that we actually curse others. Even if the recipient doesn't hear the actual words of the blessing or the curse, even if the words are not spoken aloud, they are carried as discordant notes through the song of the universe to the recipient. Fortunately, that is not all there is to it, or such behavior would be unforgivably wicked. Not that it isn't pretty nearly that anyway. We all have a choice about whether we accept curses or blessings. If we choose not to accept it, then all of the energy boomerangs back to the sender, who then gets a well-deserved double dose of it. Once, long ago, the Soul Shrinker was very beautiful, but listening to and witnessing all of this human ugliness has rubbed off on his appearance, like that of a lovely frog in a polluted pool with his skin raw and forming hideous growths. His heart is compassionate and anguished. His heartfelt wish is that we learn right speech and right thought. Every wicked thing a human says makes the Soul Shrinker more ugly. Every time a human learns this lesson, the Soul Shrinker becomes less ugly. As you can see, humanity as a whole has a lot of work to do on this. Now, I'm going to show you the picture from the book. Since we didn't draw this card, but old Gluminous Doom wanted us to read this first, I wanted you to see what the Soul Shrinker card looks like. Critical and malicious thoughts and words are having a detrimental effect on this situation and the people involved in it. Steps need to be taken to banish this curse energy through love and compassion, or at the very least, through forgiveness and a refusal to accept the curse into oneself. Understanding the implications of this and transforming the behavior and feelings involved is a major and often very difficult step in human spiritual development. One of the things usually involved here is taking responsibility for ourselves and our own feelings rather than blaming others for the way we are. Another part of this process is to learn to be compassionate toward ourselves. If we can do that, it is much easier not to be horrible to and about others. This doesn't mean that we are supposed to be all sweetness and light all of the time. The constructive criticism given compassionately is part of being real. And reality is a good thing to be in touch with. Okay, so now that we've finished reading Old Gloomness Doom, the Soul Shrinker, which is part of the Gloomness Doom, they wanted you to have that in mind as we read this card. Because obviously, and this being an overall energy read, I'm very well aware that as the reader, this is most important for me to have in my field, to be aware of, right? So, and by the way, the Soul Shrinker's card number is 55, which is a 1. And Gloomness Doom is 56, which is an 11, a master number. And so it said here, much of what I've said about the Soul Shrinker, card number 55, applies to Gloomness Doom. So please read about the Soul Shrinker first. And for those, I see we have more have joined us. I'll say that this is the card that came out, and the key words here are self-defeat, self-pity, self-destruction, and taking care of ourselves. It may seem odd to have such a seemingly lightweight challenger as Gloomness Doom right next to the Soul Shrinker, but they are the closest of cousins. The Soul Shrinker observes the way we curse others through energy and attitude. Gloomness Doom observes the way we curse ourselves. In a way, thought, the part of ourselves that he witnesses, is worse than what the Soul Shrinker sees. When we curse others through sending the energy of malice and ill will toward them, they may reject our sendings. However, when we curse ourselves through self-pity and self-destructive attitudes, there is little, if any, resistance, and the curse takes immediate effect and continues to act until we change our attitudes. And I have been cautioned quite a bit about my own self-talk, the way I speak to myself, the way I think about myself. Regardless of the words coming out of my mouth, what am I saying to myself in my head, right? So this is the overall energy for today. It's interesting, isn't it, how we can see at once that the Soul Shrinker is ugly, but old Gloomness Doom has a certain charm, a kind of weird attractiveness. We feel sorry for him. He looks so pitiful. And there is another side to him That one Oracle group participant sees, I feel that Glominous Doom is underrated as a helper. He can be there for you when no one else wants to know. The state of self-pity when all seems terrible and the whole world is against you is an important part of the process. We all get down sometimes. We could say that we even need it to compare with when we feel good. Luminous Doom is ready and willing to help us explore just how awful it all feels, just how bad it is, and how hard done by we feel, and what has made us feel like that in the first place. It is very important to really get to know these feelings. Or how can you possibly let them go if you don't properly know them in the first place? Our feelings need to be fully acknowledged and understood, or we just tuck them away and hide them from sight until they appear again, maybe in a different guise. And I cannot tell you how many people over the course of the last 2 weeks have actually said to me that things keep coming back up. I thought I dealt with that. I thought I had felt that all the way through. And then here it is again. Now, for me, the difference is I now am recognizing that it's not that you haven't done anything about it, because we can either spiral up or we can spiral down. And so seeing that something comes up again for me to look at actually is still a gift, because there was obviously something about that feeling, that happening, that I hadn't seen prior. And now that it's being shown to me again, and I feel all the way through it and ask myself questions about, okay, so what is this about? Why am I feeling this way? And hear the answer, because trust me, I will hear the answer if I ask the question and get quiet enough. And even if I don't hear it in the first little bit, oh, I better pay attention, because something will show me in my activities as I move through my life. But I got to be observant. I got to be attentive. I got to know that I've asked that question and it will show itself to me. So that's a huge thing for me to finally really get to see, right? So I'm going to read this again. Our feelings need to be fully acknowledged and understood, or we just tuck them away and hide them from sight until they appear again, maybe in a different guise. Luminous Doom helps us properly explore our gloomy feelings of doom so that we can be done with them. It is a very important job. The ultimate test here, of course, is to take responsibility for ourselves and our attitudes, and to choose a path that is life-affirming, not life-denying. The sorrier we feel for ourselves, the worse our life becomes. Reread that last sentence, please. And I will. The sorrier we feel for ourselves, the worse our life becomes. It is not the other way around. Self-pity makes things worse. And we have a choice, one we have every moment, as to whether we want to make our lives better or worse. And only we can choose that for ourselves. This card shows that it is time to face the fact that our attitudes and beliefs about ourselves are our own. We may have learned them from others, but the others are not responsible for them in the here and now. Yes, I am the way that I am, probably because of this, that, or the other in my upbringing or my experiences with abuse and these sorts of things. But past a point, it's all me, baby. It's all me. We are so we may have learned them from others, but the others are not responsible for them in the here and now. We are. If we choose self-pity and pessimism, we make a choice that makes our lives worse. When this card appears in a reading, it indicates that this is a time when understanding that concept is especially important. A time when there is some sort of crunch in the situation that offers someone the opportunity to notice and change such self-destructive habits. I have been saying this for a while. The energy now present on the planet is all about sovereignty, self-responsibility, self-reliability, and accountability for self. And if I'm not down with that, then it's going to be real hard for me because the energy no longer supports the victim mentality. Period. End of story. It's showing up everywhere in the astrology, in the world around us. Oh, yeah. If it is yourself, you know what you need to do. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. A time when there is some sort of crunch in the situation that offers someone the opportunity to notice and change such self-destructive habits. If it is yourself, you know what you need to do. If it is someone else, you may wish to consider how you might support them in this opportunity for change. Can you make sure to give positive feedback at every appropriate opportunity? Can you refrain from nagging, scolding, or complaining at them when they get it wrong? These things help. Oh, now we see why surrendering the need to be right came out. Holy smokers. No matter what I feel about the situation, let's say if it was someone else, because that's what this is talking about, then what my thoughts are on any subject are not what is at hand. So that's what this card is all about. So that is very interesting to me in the idea that that is what the overall energy is for today. And like I said, yesterday was the full moon in Libra, and Venus went direct. And so right now, the energy available on the planet, especially for me as I'm looking at my own natal chart, is to be aware of things that I am involved in relationships, relationship to myself, relationship to other, relationship to food, relationship to music. It doesn't matter what it is, relationships, right? Wow. Well, I don't know why this card. Oh, yes, I do, because I put that over there, but I think it's supposed to be red. Another surrender card was laying right here, and it's surrender negative thinking. Wow. How interesting that that show itself. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. Now, for me personally, I'm going to quickly ask, what's that attached to? Especially right now, in light of everything else that so far has shown itself in this reading. I want to know why. What's that attached to? Why is it showing itself in these moments of now? So let's move on now to the Divine Animal Oracle. What showed itself was card number 34, which numerologically is a 7, which for me personally, and I think maybe even in numerology, it's considered a divine number. And as you'll see here on the card, I feel that the lady is being depicted in a divine manner. The key word here, it's a tiger is the animal, and the key word here is will. Exercise your will and determination in ethical ways. Do not place your will over another's. You do not have control over anyone but yourself. Boy, ain't that the truth. Which really goes hand in hand with this whole surrender your need to be right, doesn't it? Wow. I just love this. Do not be afraid to be fierce, especially as a woman. Now, yesterday's card was fierceness, right? We can ride our healthy tiger, but we must eventually transform it into something more useful. The mythos. Durga came riding into people's lives on the back of a snarling tiger. She was a warrior and carried weapons to subdue and destroy. Yet her face was serene and calm. It was the evils of life she was after, the false illusions, the damaging rage, the petty jealousies. The Hindu goddess Durga is the embodiment of the powerful feminine energy of Shakti, and she wields it mightily to make the way clear. She protects the natural order of nature and the nature of the self. She rides her tiger to preserve the will we have towards what good we can do and towards subduing the negative parts of our will that we may wish to place upon others, so we are not controlled by these impulses. Wow, if I had handpicked these cards, it couldn't have been more perfect, I feel. She swings her 8 arms and destroys what is evil. Not only does Durga grab the tiger by the tail, she rides it. The animal, one of the most recognizable animals on Earth due to their markings, the tiger is part of the Panthera genus. Tigers are the largest of the big cats, and even tigresses are capable of taking down prey in excess of their own body weight. Tigers are found in Russia, Asia, and India, with the largest populations in the latter. They are diurnal, carnivorous hunters, eating small to medium prey such as antelope, pigs, monkeys, and deer, and sometimes birds and fish. They tend to be binge eaters and consume huge amounts of flesh, up to 30 kilograms in one setting. They are good swimmers. Tigers are territorial and range over very big territories, enjoying a variety of habitats. This has become a problem as most tigers now live in countries where the populations of humans is dense and their habitat has been much reduced. Tigers have been known to kill and eat humans, but this usually occurs when they are being hunted by humans. Okay. The magic. Tiger magic is wild and mysterious. It is the energy we can use to counter jealousy, threat, and rage. It is highly protective and helps us find a more resourceful way to deal with difficult situations and people. Tiger magic is feminine in aspect, and women can use it to help them gain confidence and to find their healthy fierceness. The symbology: stripes, glowing eyes in the dark, woman riding a tiger. The status: there are currently less than 4,000 tigers in the world. They are critically endangered. Wow. Well, I can really clearly see why this card came out in light of these other cards. It certainly makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so the Remy card wants to be last, so we're going to go right now to the Alchemy Elementals card, because 3 of these showed themselves. I just love this deck, I have to say. And so which of you 3 want to be first? I think the land, tree, earth is speaking to me to be first. And I find the imagery on this card quite interesting because I really feel as though, for me personally, maybe for all of you as well, I don't know, but we are in the process of birthing ourselves at this time on the planet. That is the energy that is supported in these moments. The sovereignty of self, and whether or not that's, we're going to birth that. So land, tree, earth. Land, tree, earth is on page 90, which is a 9 numerologically, which is the end of a cycle. Isn't that interesting? Because I really do feel that we are definitely at the end of a cycle here on this planet. The end of the victim mentality, if you will, for those who are ready, those who wish to move into embodiment of sovereignty. Because sovereignty and victimhood does not go together in any way. Every seed we plant becomes a part of us, just as we become a part of it. To understand the growth process and the care, the nurturing, and the attention it requires, there is nothing quite as effective as the process of planting a seed and caring for it as it grows. When we plant seeds, we step into the role of nurturer. As nurturers, we must cultivate the patience to water the seed and to care for the seed. We must make sure that it receives the right amount of sunlight as it grows so that it can be strong and sturdy and well nourished. Caring for the seeds we plant teaches us how to care for ourselves and how to care for our planet, because it attunes us to the daily care and the subtle shifts necessary for each plant to thrive. Plant a seed and nurture it like it's your most exquisite version of yourself, because it is, my love. And I couldn't agree more. That's why I say I feel as though that is the energy that is supported on this planet right now. Seeing oneself in every light that I've just witnessing myself and being honest with myself about what I'm seeing, and being okay with what I'm learning about myself, because boy, oh boy, some things haven't really been all that easy. Okay, so I think Sky, Snow, Earth wants to be next. And the number on this card is 44, which to me, um, multiple fours speak to the angelic realm, in particular, the archangelics, right? For me, and that, it's, I feel like it's different for everyone. So sky, snow, earth, sky, snow, earth. It is on page 60, which is a 6, which is all about love, balance, harmony. So we have the archangels, I feel, speaking to us about love, balance, and harmony. So we'll see what this has to say here. Sky, snow, earth. Well, for me, first of all, the depiction of the card, again, it's very similar actually to me. When you look at this card and what I said about the birthing of self, right, on the planet, sovereignty, and then you look at this card, there's some definite similarities here for me anyway. Interesting. Holding on to resentments and negative feelings toward others is easy. It's also a great way to shut down your heart and turn it to stone. Well, isn't that correct? I mean, we just got all that information about the soul shrinker and gloomless doom. It is far more challenging to keep your heart open and to accept people for who they are and where they are at without judgment. Yeah, and that's not always easy, specifically if you haven't been learning about yourself, right? And trust me, trust me. I have been a real judgmental so and so, let me just say, in my life, because I just knew I was right for everybody. Yes, it is far more challenging to keep your heart open and to accept people for who they are and where they are at without judgment, without expectation, and without an agenda. It's also far more rewarding. That is also true, can I just say, since I've been experiencing that for myself now. Holding unconditionally loving and accepting space for people in your life takes courage and compassion. You are being asked to see your family and your friends and your community through the heart and to sidestep the trappings of the mind that would have you judging them, resenting them, and wishing they were different. To heal the collective, we must heal ourselves. I could not agree more. That's, for me, was the biggest information that I received through the Jeshua Channeling's book. And if you haven't taken advantage of listening, because I recorded that whole book and with the permission of the author, so you can listen to it for free on the channel. It has its own playlist, and I highly recommend it. So I'm going to read that again. You are being asked to see your family and your friends and your community through the heart and to sidestep the trappings of the mind that would have you judging them, resenting them, and wishing they were different. To heal the collective, we must heal ourselves and our relationships and allow our tribe members the space they need to learn and to grow at their own pace and in their own ways. That is one of the biggest things that I had a problem with. And now I keep being shown over and over and over again that no matter what something looks like, or I want to label it in the moment, it may be just exactly what I need, what that being needs in order to get to a point where they can see themselves for themselves. Because no amount of me trying to tell you what you need to do for you is going to help you. It certainly didn't help me. I had to actually get to the point where I saw it for myself so I could then do something about it. And now I know for all with all of me that with that being all one and singular at the same time, everything I do for me makes it that much more available for any of the one others of us. I just know that Lisa helped me see that in such a way that I just can't even explain. Okay, so land, animal, star is on page 97. Let's see, a 97 is a 7. No, it's an 8, isn't it? See, I'm not all that great at the adding and the subtracting in my head when certain numbers get to be a point. Okay, so 97. Yeah, that is a 7. I was right. See, I didn't even allow myself a moment. Okay, so bear medicine is what this screams to me because that's what we have here, right? Shaman have long revered sacred animal totems for their strength, their power, their wisdom, and their magic. All people have shown sacred animal totems have their own sacred animal totems that govern their lives. The gifts, behaviors, and characteristics of these animals guide you and bless you on your path. The first time I had any kind of an experience with an animal totem was during my first attunement to Reiki. As I tuned in for the first time and really allowed myself to visualize and follow along with the guided meditation that was happening by my instructor, I just was taking note of everything that took place in that meditation and what was being shown to me. And, you know, she was leading us down a path that was perfect for us in a place that was perfect for us. And there was no visualizations other than whatever we felt was perfect for us. I saw myself going down a forest path. And during that time, a bear presented itself to me in a beautiful way. And so I am aware that I guess that is one of my spirit or sacred animals, I guess you could say. It will be different for each being too, by the way. The gifts, behaviors, and characteristics of these animals guide and bless your path. Notice the animals that appear in your life and that visit your dreams. When you close your eyes and ask your animal totems to show themselves to you, which are the first to show up? Are there any animals you feel an affinity for or that pop into your mind as you read these words? Well, the other one that absolutely showed itself to me was a chipmunk. And that was some years later. And what was so cool about that is that I was asking the universe in my head that if this and that are true, I want to see a chipmunk in my backyard. That was what I was doing, right? And I want you to know that not 5 minutes later, I saw some teeny tiny little thing bounding across my backyard. And I said, "Oh, that's a mouse. That's not a chipmunk." I want you to know that that little mouse, what I thought was a mouse, popped up on a tree stump and looked directly at me. No, I'm not a mouse. And it was a chipmunk. So I know for me, when I open myself and I finally actually allow things to reveal itself to me, I couldn't unsee that. There's no way I could unsee that, even though I was trying my hardest to unsee it and say, oh, that's not it. Boy, it was. These are your animal totems, child. Trust in the messages and in the medicine they hold for you. They are your allies. They hold the wisdom that will guide you on your journey here. So, very interesting to me that this one actually also came out. And rather than it being anything else, it was the very first card that showed itself to me. So I'm going to take that for me as meaning that my animal totem is around me today. The bear medicine, which I carry. And I'm not even sure. I'll have to go and look it up and remind myself before. And I'm going to wait until after this reading to do that. But I'm going to make sure that I get some information about the bear animal totem before I leave my house, because I am going to visit at my son's today. And so I feel like that is exactly what I'm being told to do. Make sure that just know that your animal totem is here. And I think the message for anybody and everybody else that gets this, not necessarily that bear is yours unless you feel an affinity for it, but it is specific to say, do your own meditation. Ask just what it said. Ask that your animal totems show themselves to you, whether they show them in your meditation in your mind's eye, or they show themselves to you in the field as you're going for a walk down the street, whatever, right? I mean, that's the way I feel about it. So this is very interesting to me that this also is a 9, the end of a cycle, the same as this card was a 9, right? Do we have other 9s? We had a 7, we had an 11, we have the archangels surrounding us, and these two right here, the birthing of self, because that's what I feel like when I look at that card. Okay, and it's the impossible made possible. Love brings the sea into boiling and turns the mountains into a pebble. Love creates infinite openings in the dark sky and shudders the earth with its magnitude. Rumi. Well, I feel like that's a very true statement if one allows oneself to see it. Wouldn't you say? I want y'all to know that I finally did get myself a coffee warmer. So my coffee is at least still warm. She spins this great earth goddess upon invisible strings amongst a wildly pulsating ballet of life. Stars are born, live, and die all around her. Life moves in constant flux, and still she spins in her great, loving, constant pirouette. How can this be? All of creation is born from nothing. Out of endless silence and darkness, light emerges. What strange magic is this? The sun heats the solar system and burns with the power to destroy life, yet it is a force by which life is sustained. Surely this makes no sense and cannot be. We dance in the realm of the impossible made possible constantly, you and I. We are so engrossed in it, so familiar with it, and yet so blind to it, that these constant impossibilities happening every moment fail to inspire us. Isn't that true? I mean, the very fact that all of the systems that have to work in perfect harmony inside this vessel just for me to breathe, much less speak, is the impossible made possible. That's certainly the way I feel about it in these moments of now, let me just say. So you won't catch me poo-pooing anything, because as far as I'm concerned, nothing is as it appears. Not one thing. Yet, what are your biggest, boldest, most extraordinarily impossible dreams compared to this great impossibility of life itself? They are but tiny seeds in the Creator's masterful hand, being now planted in the heavenly garden. Yes, they are being planted right now, for the moon tells us the time is right. Most tenderly shall they be watched over, nurtured into fullness according to the season. Yes, that growth is assured. The impossible is now made possible. And how interesting that we are still in the full moon phase. Yesterday's full moon culminated at 8-something p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time. And so we are still in the full moon phase. I find that highly interesting. We only limit what we believe to be possible by our lack of imagination. I feel like that's no truer words were spoken. And that's something that we learn from very early on, thanks to our parenting and society and school and all these other things that all of us, no matter who you're talking about or talking to, have had. Every single one of us has programming, error-filled programming installed. Nobody got left out of that little trick. And I get it. That is the way it was meant to be. Now that I see it, I certainly cannot unsee it. So I'm going to say that again. We only limit what we believe to be possible by our lack of imagination. The divine has recourse to all that is and all that is yet to be. Is there any limit to the resources of heaven? No. So then, why has not every possible dream now been rendered possible, indeed manifest, in shining glory upon the earth? The human heart knows everything envisioned can manifest according to divine timing and grace. Yet the mind does quake with fear, so much so that it will not listen to the heart at times. That fear is a childlike nightmare that should you offer yourself up to the loving power of the great Creator, you might be found lacking. The mind holds itself captive with dark fantasies of that profound rejection and then avoids confronting it directly at all costs. It creates barriers instead, truly nothing more than lines in the sand, yet believed to be forts. But what strongholds can resist love? It is like water, it seeps into every available space and changes form to survive in every environmental condition. The river and ocean, rain descending into snowflakes, snow capping the peak, expressing itself with beauty and genius. It nestles under the earth and rises to the sky only to return to the earth again. It will erode blockages and prevail no matter how long that process takes. It carves the earth into shape and form. Where it is, there is life. Such is the adaptable intelligence and persistence of water, just as is the power of love. So now you are guided by this loving power to drop the doubt, shed the incredulity, and open up the mind. That's kind of interesting to me because I'm telling you, Lisa and I were just speaking last night, and I was thanking her yet and again for showing up. And she very fond of telling me that you were open to hearing it. And I remember when I first started Conscious Conversation Central, that's the first step. You got to open yourself up to hearing things that sound fantastical and impossible in order to even consider it. Because if you're not open to considering all possibilities, plausibilities, well, then of course, I'm shutting myself off from what could be, what will be. So now you are guided by this loving power to drop the doubt, shed the incredulity, and open up the mind. Allow your imagination to be inspired as though you are a child in a great garden, hearing the breath of the earth in the wind-whipped leaves and the voices of the ancestors in birdsong. The universe wants something to happen for you, something beautiful, something utterly improbable, and something perfect for your path, your own unique divine destiny. Your mind will wonder if it is even possible. People around you may wonder the same thing, but your heart will burn for it to become real, to become more than a fantastic, improbable dream. You'll want it with all your soul. You may not even be consciously aware as yet what this great desire is, but your heart knows. It holds the secret knowledge and will unveil it when your mind can handle it. I know that to be true now with all of me. That is why when people say, why can't these people wake up? That is a huge part of it. The mind isn't ready, otherwise they would. It's not a non-willingness to see. It is a non-readiness to know. And it will happen in that divine timing. And no matter what anybody else tries to do to try to I'm telling you, I've seen the damage I've done trying to get somebody to understand a concept they weren't ready for. That's why the openness to hearing things has to be there first. Has to. No way around it. When your heart is much more powerful than your mind, you won't unintentionally block the incredible grace of manifestation seeking to pour into your thirsty soul, like the sweetest, purest waters of blessing. Wow. Oh my goodness. Hello, my sweet friend. Coincidence Cafe said, beautifully profound. Open to the impossible. No way one would do that. I know you're saying that with tongue in cheek because I know the truth of that for you, for me, for many. Even when I think I'm ready, I've obviously not been totally ready, or it would have already happened. And I now know that with all of me. So that whole, like, I don't know, like 2 years, I kept getting the message to relax into myself. Yeah, there are certain things that I have to do to be ready. And when I am ready, it will happen. That saying that when the student is ready, the master appears. Oh my God, that's a true statement. And not a moment before, not one moment before, no matter how ready I think I am, the universe is going to have my back. And only what I can handle, what I'm ready to see, what I'm ready to know will be shown to me when and only when that time has presented itself. And boy, I got to tell you, there's a whole lot of peace in that right there for me. And again, everybody's mileage is absolutely going to vary because it is an individuated path that the divine is having, expressing through each individuated singular life. It is the one. I'm telling you, today's reading was so great, and I'm so glad, as I almost didn't do this reading because I'm going to visit with my child today, and I'm excited to see him and his little one. But I just knew I had to do this first, and I know with all of me that when I feel that way, I need to do this. And it's always, yes, if it's been great for you, if you received something out of this, then that was meant to be as well. If you find it live, if you see it later, if you were drawn here, I'm certain there was something here for you as well. But I know with all of me that this is for me. I can't unsee all of this today and how it's absolutely for me. Trust that I feel that. Well, like I said, I hope that there was something here for those of you who found yourself here, and we'll just do it again. Surrender your need to always be right. Because I got to tell you, that was a huge one for me, man. I just knew I was right for everybody. Yes, meant to be. I so adore you too. And we need to, I know we just had a conversation just recently, but you know me, I'll take all that you want to give me. So, and I do feel Conscious Conversation Central coming back in a huge way. So whenever you're ready, let's do it again because I'm so ready, right? So surrender your need to always be right. I know what part of that was for me. What I could be right for me. But I was operating under the mistaken principle that if I'm right for me, well, of course it's got to be right for you. Because I was still operating on I'm going to say the duality spectrum where right, if this is right, then the other thing is wrong. But no, I can see that now. I can be right for me and wrong for you all at the same time. I see that now. And my own guidance has been cautioning me about my negative thinking, most specifically about myself. And that, of course, goes right to the gloominess doom and the soul shrinker energy that came out, right? Absolutely, because whether I was thinking about somebody else or I'm thinking about myself, it's cursing me. All one and singular, cursing me. Whether I say it or think it, that energy is there. I have had several instances that show me that that frequency can be felt, regardless of what you think. You might think that you can hide your little how you think and feel about somebody else in your own head, but trust me, no, that is not possible. I love this card coming out about the will because it is all within our own power, and the energy that is supported on this planet at this time is all about sovereignty, self accountability, self responsibility, self reliability. It's all taking it right here because this is the only place I have full control. And then knowing that the impossible is possible, regardless of what I've been taught, regardless of how I've come up 63 years and all of the, I now see that nothing is the way I've been told, not one thing. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I trust that if and when you find it, it is for you. There's something here. And I also say that for me, I always move towards that which brings me the highest joy. Every moment that presents itself to me. And if I'm not in a joyous spot, I ask myself to step back and take a look at it because there's always more than one way to see something, think about something, receive the information, the data. There's always more than one way. And it really is the perspective through which I am viewing it. I can view it from a lens of victimhood, something being done to me, or I can see it that, hey, something's going on and the universe is putting me in a stop mode for a reason. Maybe it's happening for me. So I'm just going to hang back here and be very grateful that whatever it is I want to have happen isn't actually happening in this moment of now. Because boy, oh boy, it can make all the difference in the world. So I hope that you will be well. I love you guys all so much. In the event, I know I keep saying this, but I am trying to shoot for an intuitive hangout session tonight. If I do, it will be on Sassy Sheila. That is the channel, my other channel, and I've been called to give that channel some love. So, but it just depends on the timing, of course, with the visiting of my family. But that is my intention, is to come back here and do, because I've missed it and I really want to do that. So if you don't have anything going on later on today, check it out. Go and see. If you're not already subscribed to New Light Streaming Love, please do so. And also, if you want to be notified when I go live on Sassy Sheila, make sure you're subscribed over there as well. And I'll say this one more time. Well, not one more time. You'll probably hear me say it quite a few times. In the show more section of this video later, it won't be there today, but you can go to yesterday's readings, whether it be on Sassy Sheila or it be on New Light Streaming Love. There are ways for you, if you feel so called, to help us support Krystle. the other member of the New Light Streaming Love team. She will be going in for her second round of spinal surgery that, unfortunately, because of that accident where, the girl ran a stop sign, and that means she will be unable to work. And she is a single mom. And the way she supports herself, she does have an outside job, a 3D work-a-day job, but also there are things that she gets involved with creatively through her metaphysical pursuits. She's got courses for you. Take a look at the video that I did telling you how you can support her and see where to go, because there's t-shirts, there's sweatshirts, there's jewelry, there's personalized channeled information that she will do for you. Her surgery is not until May 19th. So if you want a personalized channeled message, along with, you can even do a light language transmission. Go and take a look at that. And also there are ways that if you simply just want to offer her a love offering, I put it in both of all of those videos moving forward for right now. So, and to add, and also I'm offering my services for, in exchange for love offering. I don't usually take cash, because I just feel like if you are ready to work with me, you're ready to work with me. And that's cool. But I am doing it right now for a love offering for Krystle. So if you feel called to work with me beyond quantum healing session or reading or just consultation of the blueprint that I do, let me know. Reach out to ConsciousConversationCentral@gmail.com, and we'll gather in Zoom and talk about it. So, I hope you have a lovely Sunday. It's Sunday. Don't get it twisted. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday, and be well, my friends.